I know we got many parts to this rebuild, but that's okay. I'm sure Lenny will appreciate it that we're getting things done. And I've been doing a lot of chattering. This thing's been a little tedious working on it, but you have this. Maybe I had too much caffeine today, who knows. So here we are, we're back together. Everything's looking good, ticking away. I'm going to show you this date mechanism and how that's working. You can see that coming around. That hook lever is going to grab that at the 12. It's going to snap and advance it, and there it has it. It's snapped over. Here's the stem. The stem is at 4, I believe. Let's back this up. And this little lever here, spring loaded, that locks it in at that position. You know, we could advance that manually. Yeah, let's get it in the shot. As I advance that manually, you can see where that ends up, and that locks it in place. So I can physically just move that along, no problem. Talk about quick date setting. That's really quick. Pretty smooth. It runs smoothly there. So let's go back to here, and we're going to advance again. Where am I going? I'm going the wrong way. Okay, we backed it up to about the 8 o'clock position. And here we come along. Or didn't I go far enough? I didn't go far enough. There it goes. There it is. Snaps that time, or the date, right over. Beautiful thing. Now, we are going to install our dial. Yeah, let's think about that for a while. I didn't do anything to it other than rub it down with some Rotico. You start rubbing this too much, you're going to start taking paint off. Whatever those specks are, it's part of the patina, part of the age of this timepiece. I'm not going to do much with this, only because I don't want to take away from its original look when it was brought to me, and I'm sure Lenny wants it that way. Besides, it gives it character. It looks like it's an old watch, it's an old piece, because it is. So do you want to be a garage queen, or do you want something that's functional and shows the history, shows the age, shows exactly what this has been through? So the case and the dial are going to reflect that as well. They're not perfect. We could have stripped the gold and refinished everything and, you know, done all that, but then you have basically something new. Took away its character, like restoring an old car. Do you want a garage queen that's perfect and pristine and restored, or do you want something that's drivable yet has a good engine, transmission? So I'm going to put this dial on. There it is. There's our dial. Here's our dial feet screws, one on each side. I'm probably out of the shot right now because of the angle I'm working with this microscope, but you get the idea. There's the other one. I always wanted a garage queen in my garage, and take it to car shows. But then I think, what good is it? If I'm going to worry about it constantly, taking it to car shows, getting scratched up, getting banged up, Somebody putting fingers on it. So I don't have a garage queen. I don't want one. I got a couple of garage queen watches, but that's okay. I don't mind. Alright, here we go. So let's set the hands on this. The hands we're going to keep original as well. And to do that, we have to advance the time until midnight. When that clicks over, that's when we place the hour hand. Okay, any day now. There it is. Snap right in. Okay, let's put the hour hand on. We're not going to press it on tightly. We're just going to lay it on there so it's close to midnight. Or, well, I'm going to put it right on midnight. But I'm not going to drive it home. I'm just going to lean on it a bit. Okay. So when we come around, we have an idea where we are. Okay. So there's the... Let's see how close we get it. How close do we come to that snapping over at midnight? That's in the shot pretty good. Easy does it. Slow, sneaking up on it. Look at that. Snaps right over. That's pretty darn close to midnight if you ask me. So let's drive that home. Let's put that on the hand setter. My Amazon hand setter. Just give it a nudge. Remember, we don't want it on there too tight, too deep. Let me check that. Okay, how's that look? There we have it sitting off of the dial, so it shouldn't rub on the dial face. Incidentally, this is setting time pretty smoothly. It's not notchy like it was. But it's still an old piece. It's not going to be, you know, it still has some wear from the plate that I replaced. How's that going to look here? 20. Look at that. That thing clicked right over. We're going to leave it at that and put the minute hand on. Let's put the minute hand at midnight as well. That looks pretty good. And back with our hand setter. And we're going to seat that. Okay, how does that look? Coming And then from this angle, looks pretty good, if you ask me. Let's do this one more time. Get that in the shot. Coming up on midnight. 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. Looks like it's going to click over 1 minute after midnight. Maybe. One minute after midnight. Maybe 45 seconds after midnight. I'm happy with that. Although, I'm not happy with the 3 o'clock position, and that's sitting there on the minute hand. So let's come around to 6 o'clock. Let's see what's doing here. So if we line this up for 6, okay, there's the 6 o'clock position, but the minute hand is at 4.5 minutes after. I do not like that. We're going to change that. We are going to undo the minute hand. Off that comes, and we're going to reposition it. I wasn't happy with that. If something's going to click over at midnight, a little before or a little after, I'm okay with that, because I'd rather have correct hand alignment at 12 and everything else. 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, everything looks lined up. It's not far off by 4 minutes or 3 minutes. I don't want that. I can do better. Let's set this one. There we go. Yes, this is what I do sometimes with time clock, setting hands. You do it and you redo it. You do it and you redo it. Till you're happy with it. Till you're happy with how it's going to look. So here we come up to 6 o'clock. Put that on the 12. The 6 looks good. How do we look at 9? Or 2100. That's 0900 right there. Here's noon. Noon's pretty nice. Let's come around to 2400. When does that date click over? Not like that. Making sure things are working. So it's a little before midnight. That is clicking over. Just a tad bit before. Let's see what time it is doing it. Three minutes. 3 minutes to midnight. It pops over. I think I'm pretty good with that. I'm happy with that. That would be acceptable in my book, and I hope in Lenny's as well. So our case is done. Let's put the second hand on. That's pretty straightforward stuff. Looks like I got a fuzzball on it. Let's get in the shot. Okay. Back to the hand setter. Something this old, I think Lenny is going to use it sparingly, which would make sense. I have some old pieces as well. They don't come out much, if at all, given my job. Banging into things and whacking them. The sentimental value on this alone is going to be what keeps this from seeing too much wrist time or activity, and that would make sense. Makes sense to me. Okay, let's put this in the case. I'm going to lay that dial down on the holder, and here's our, zoom out here, here's our ring. That ring cleaned up nicely. That thing's white, pure white now. Not pure white, but it's very clean after being in the bath. I put it in the ultrasonic cleaner with dish detergent and water. That's it. And let that do its thing. So there's our keeper and our screw going in. Of course it's not behaving. Alright, hold on people. Okay, let's do it this way. It's easier to see. Okay. I'm not going to tighten that all the way. Let's leave that loose till we get our other keeper in there. Our Geister keeper. Geister keeper and corresponding screw. I gotta say the movement cleaned up real nice. Runs good, ticks beautifully, clicks over on the date. Still looks like an old watch. Doesn't look brand new. Who wants it brand new? Okay, there you have it. Now our case, let's give that a, blow that out. Here's a look at our case. Cleaned up, polished, some grime removed. Not perfect. You can find imperfection in that crystal. However, it looks decent. I could spend hours and hours and hours and hours rubbing out deep scratches. That's just going to weaken the crystal, and they're hardly even noticeable. You'd need a loupe to look at them from where I see. So I'm going to leave it at that. Gives it character. Okay, we took the stem out. Here's our movement, and it's going into the case. And I like to put a little 8200 on the end of that stem. Lubricate the stem and its internals. I'm going to see. Okay, are we focused? I don't think so. Alright, in with the stem. Stem's installed. Movements in the case. Give it a few winds. Look at that. Couple of clicks and it starts ticking. So I'm gonna do another video on timing this. But that looks pretty darn good, I'm gonna say. So we'll do some better shots later on timing this and regulating. So there you have it, the last part of this assembly.